Welcome to Takeover, the most underrated sports debate show on YouTube. I know we are missing a person in the middle. You know, Deandra takes heavily on load managing, like PG and Kawhi. We might have to discuss those guys today. But she is load managing for sure, but it only takes two to take over.
You already know. As you know, my name is Josh.
My name is Cam, and this is Takeover.
Yo, we play it all in night. Yeah, need it all in advance. The opposition already ready for it. Like a supper we eating, it won't be the last. Grind all the muscle, pull up. Parker right on the grass. We coming in, take over everything, run it up. Nothing holding me back. 3 in the wood, rushing. I don't like Dutch, don't even matter, you know I'm a face. And when I roll a paper, I like to go double. Run up a check, flip a W, make it an M. I need a couple.
Alright, Josh, as you predicted again, the Utah Jazz have come out to a surprising start. First in the West. If the Lakers aren't 100%, is Utah now the team to beat in the Western Conference?
Honestly, I don't like the 100% thing you put on there. I think Utah is the team to beat right now, period. I know that LA has the championship DNA, and I know that LA has the championship past in their in the last season. But last season is last season. We're focused on right now. The fact of the matter is, LA has looked good, but they haven't looked as good as the Jazz. If we're looking at the Jazz right now, they are easily the best team in the NBA. They're fourth in offensive rating and second in defensive rating. They have a 9.4 net rating, which is 1.5 points ahead of number 2. They've got 6 guys scoring in double figures relatively easily. They've got shooters for days. That's important now in the modern NBA where everybody has to be able to shoot. You've got people like Joe Ingles shooting 46% on 5 threes a game. Royce O'Neal's hitting 42%, which is insane. Mike Conley's at 41. Bojan's at 39. Donovan Mitchell's at 38.9, and Jordan Clarkson's at 38. They've got 2 creators that can shot create for themselves and others in Conley and Mitchell, and then they've got easily the best defensive center in the NBA in Rudy Gobert. He is literally a scheme unto himself. They don't even have to worry about putting perimeter defenders out there. They can just kind of funnel people into Rudy. So yeah, this is the best team in the NBA right now by far. I don't see anybody that has really made an impact on both sides of the floor the way that they have. And this whole idea that the Jazz are going to be the 2014-15 Hawks, while flattering as a Hawks fan, it's very unfounded, because if the Atlanta Hawks had a player like Donovan Mitchell, that playoffs would have looked a little bit different, because the 2014 Hawks were great because they were a sum that was greater than the individual pieces, but they didn't have an individual scorer the way that the Jazz have an individual scorer. Their best one-on-one scorer at that time was Jeff Teague or Paul Millsap, which, if we're being honest, is nowhere near Donovan Mitchell's caliber. And we also didn't have a Rudy Gobert. So, the Jazz are the team to beat out west. Easily.
Utah is having a great season, like you said. 6 of their players are in double figures, all scoring high. But I feel like I've seen this story before. Great team basketball. You got your one star. Great cast members, are well coached, good on defense. It's kind of like watching the 2017 Raptors. You brought up the Hawks, which I think is kind of a bad comparison because the Hawks didn't really have a star, but that Raptors team did. I would arguably say DeMar DeRozan and Kyle Lowry were playing at high standards, and they had a great team around them. They had a great coaching, and they had the depth. Literally, they had Coach of the Year. And then I look at another team, the 2014 Indiana Pacers. Same build. Great team. When playoff P was actually that guy in the playoffs, that was the team. And when what happened to those teams? They met the superstars in the big games, and they crumbled. We don't know enough about the Utah Jazz to know what they're going to do. I know they have Donovan Mitchell, and he's an all-star caliber type player. He's going to put up points. But what about the rest of those guys who are unproven? Jordan Clarkson right now is having a good season. Will he be the same in the playoffs? Is Conley going to be the same in the playoffs? These are questions I really just don't know. And they're such a young team. If this was more of like an older team, maybe 2 or 3 years down, I probably would have had more faith in them. But I feel like there are new guys on the come up. And the West, unlike the East, like I named those teams, like I said, the 2017 Raptors and the Indiana Pacers in the East, it weren't so top heavy. You know what I'm saying? The Western Conference, there's superstars all over the place. The first round, they could be seeing a Dame Dollar. They could be seeing the Denver Nuggets. Are we so sure that they could beat those teams with the superstar potential?
I mean, they beat Denver last year.
You said they beat who?
No,
Denver actually beat Utah last year.
Cut that out.
No, we're keeping that in.
My brain. I just got out of production class. My bad, bro.
You're all good.
You're right.
Okay.
But Mitchell still put 36 on him.
He did. That's what I'm saying. He did good. But how is he gonna go against these superstar teams when there's so many superstars out west? If you facing a Luka, there's a hot Suns team. I'm just saying. I'm not sure with the lack of superstar power how these guys are gonna do. Because all those stats you named were good, but at the end of the day, can you get me a bucket? I think consistently. If it's not Donovan Mitchell, who is it?
Mike Conley.
Consistently.
I think so. I mean, he's doing it this year. He did it last year in the playoffs too. And I think one thing that you're putting a little too much stock in last year's playoffs, because last year's playoffs was an aberration. I think just in general. First of all, the Miami Heat went to the finals.
Okay.
Second of all, they had been playing a season. They paused for like 3-4 months, and then they picked up playing again.
Right.
And there was a lot of weird, and especially with the Jazz, I'm assuming there's a lot of tension backstage between, especially Gobert and Mitchell, and I'm assuming Gobert and the rest of the team. So I think this year, because the Jazz are bringing back so many people that were already on their team last year, continuity matters. I think we've seen that this year in general, is that continuity matters, and I think. I mean, there are pro basketball players, and I think they'll be okay, but I think the continuity will matter once you get to the playoffs, because while there are teams that, it'll be the first time actually having most of the guys there, and they'll have only had 70 games and, absolutely no training camp or preseason to put them all together, I think that continuity will play a factor in the playoffs.
I definitely believe that. But to end on my point, I think the team to beat, I know Josh just said Utah Jazz. I believe it's the Los Angeles Clippers.
Oh, we did this last year.
They're not 100%. But hear me out. You just got done saying it was a weird season.
Okay.
Weird things are going on because we all know. What I'm saying? I'm not gonna say we all know, but if the Clippers, if this is a regular season type thing, you know what I'm saying? They have the fans around. I think we get the Western Conference Finals we're looking for. We don't see the crazy things that we saw happen in the bubble. And I believe, you know what I'm saying? You named all the stats about Utah, but there's a team that's like right behind them in every stat category. It's the Clippers. You said Utah Jazz. They're fifth. You said what?
Really?
Yeah, they're fifth.
I saw there was like 20th or something.
They were not that bad.
Interesting. I don't know, man. Bleacher Report must have lied to me.
But I'm saying, as far as stats go, they're not too far from each other. And then when you have the presence of a Kawhi Leonard, and I don't think Paul George is going to be continually bad through the playoffs his whole entire life. I'm not going to bank on playoff P being as bad as he was the past 3 years his whole entire career. So when you see that, I think the Clippers overall, they're just as deep, are the team to beat because they have the superstars.
Whatever it is, it's going to be very entertaining.
Oh, for sure. I'm all for it. This is all, of course, if the Lakers aren't healthy. Because if they are, I mean, I'm picking LeBron over a lot of people. Switching over to a Takeover classic topic. You know what I'm saying? I mean, classic segment.
Is it a classic if we've only done it once?
Yeah, because you know what I'm saying? It's back in the old days when we had like actual studio. I don't know how we go from studio to this. Like, we regressed. But
I blame COVID.
Yeah, it's
not us. It's not us.
It's obviously not.
It's the worldwide pandemic, and
you
can't have more than 2 people in that wide open space. But I'm not throwing shade at anybody.
But the segment is called "Who You Got." This is where me and Josh are going to ask each other those heated barbershop questions we all like to ask each other. Those 1v1, who will win 1v1s, and all those other questions that you would find yourself arguing with a guy at the barbershop with, or any parent. Or anything like that, as far as this goes. So I'm gonna go first, Josh. Hopefully it doesn't make a lot of people mad. It's a game of 1v1 basketball between Michael Jordan and LeBron James to 7. Who do you have winning? Who you got?
Man, if it's a game of 1-on-1, if we're talking about scoring buckets.
Correct.
Give me Michael Jordan any day of the week.
Take him, Mike.
I know LeBron's this irresistible force. I know he's 6'9", 250. But the fact of the matter is, in a one-on-one game against arguably the most dogged perimeter defender that we have ever seen, the most competitive human being, I'm going to buy that Michael Jordan is going to be willing to do anything and everything to take it. And I'm also going to buy that Mike's got the moves on the moves to give to LeBron, that LeBron's not going to be able to handle it. Because if there's one thing about LeBron in a one-on-one setting, I don't think he would be as good because he can't just bully his way to the basket. Okay. He has to have a move in his bag. And there are a few moves like that stupid step back where he holds the ball out and somehow it works. And then he does kind of have a spin move, but I think Mike would win because Mike's the best scorer of all time.
Okay.
All right, Cam. Now it's my turn.
All right.
Who you got?
All right.
One-on-one. We're going to go to 11 because that's the real way to play.
Okay.
Oscar Robertson or Russell Westbrook?
1-on-1, Oscar Robertson or Russell Westbrook? Okay, well, we're looking at scoring as a whole. If everyone's in their prime, which I'm expecting,
Yes, no, it's not current day.
Okay, all right. If everyone's in their prime, I'm taking Russell. I feel like you have an unstoppable force on the inside. You have your mid-range shot in his MVP season. He wasn't shooting that bad from three as bad as it is now. And I mean, this is a guy who was averaging close to 30 points and was averaging a triple-double. I mean, it doesn't matter because they're playing 1v1, but I'm taking Russell Westbrook. The explosiveness, the whole entire bag. As good as Oscar Robinson.
Okay.
So, who you got? My last question. 1v1 on the outside. This is football here. You got Deion Sanders on one side. Tyreek Hill on the other. Who you got one-on-one? Who's winning that matchup?
Tyreek
is beating the greatest corner of all time. Tell me what.
Because who's going to stop that speed? No disrespect to Deion, but like if it's over a game, Tyreek's going to get his because Tyreek nobody can take a top off the defense the way he can. And Deion's got burners, don't get me wrong, but Tyreek's change of direction at full speed and the top speed he can hit. I don't think that there's anybody that's ever played the game of football that can actively guard him. Now, he's not going to get anything short because Deion will stop him there. But if you send him on a go route and he's able to reach top speed, I'm sorry, but Deion going to be a few steps behind him, man.
I'll make Leon Sandcastle come back in the league.
I'd love to see Leon. That afro is to die for. All right. Who you got, Cam?
Okay.
1-on-1. On the outside.
On the outside.
Because I followed exactly your pattern. Terrell Owens
T.O.
or Richard Sherman?
T.O. Easily. Because this isn't zone coverage. And it's the only reason why. We saw what happened when Richard Sherman was guarding Tyreek Hill, or when he has to guard anyone man-to-man. He's just not that good. As great as a corner Richard Sherman is, he has to be put in the correct system to really be like that. He's no Darrelle Revis. Mm-hmm. That's why you take him out of those conversations like that. T.O. is probably one of the most skilled receivers of all time, and he's going to talk that trash to you. So, this is a guy who played the Super Bowl with a broken leg. I'm taking T.O. easily.
That's fair. All I know is I just want that matchup to be mic'd up.
Oh, definitely. Oh, yeah. It's going to be
that
all
would be
talk
a 45-minute. That would be more interesting than the game to me, honestly. I wouldn't care who won. I just want to hear what they said.
Well, that was a quick one for the day. Josh, do you have anything to say?
Sorry that we didn't take up too much of your time, but I'm just going to go ahead and stretch it out a little bit then. I want you guys right now, while we're talking, I want you to scroll down, all right? I want you to hit that thumbs up button, all right? Did you do it? You should have done it. But
wait, we're going to wait. We're going to wait. Wait, look at it.
All right, now that you've hit the like button, if you can go to that giant red button over there that says subscribe on it, right? Yeah. Hit that. And when you hit that, there's going to be a bell that pops up right next to it. Hit on that. When the drop-down menu comes up, hit all. So you can know when every banger that we drop every week drops. We've got even more content coming for you. Not just stuff in the studio, but stuff outside the studio. And that's not just limited to the one-on-one that we're playing.
We outside.
We're going to have a lot more IRL content. So you guys want to make sure that you're here so that way you can say you was a day one supporter when this thing eventually blows up. Because it's going to blow up. Call this GameStop, baby. We're going to the moon. But after all that, and then if you want to, leave a comment down below. Tell us what you thought of our opinions. And if you really want to be featured on the show, send us a DM on Instagram or Snapchat. Instagram. My Instagram is JoshuaJulian46.
My Instagram is legit my name, Cameron L. Sanders. Just go ahead. Just put it in there.
So you can send us a video in the DMs, and we will put you on the show, and we will respond to your video. We do it to any and everybody. We have not had a video come in yet that we did not put on the show.
All of mine.
So if you want to be featured and you want to hear what we have to say about an opinion that you have, hit us up and let us know.
Well, all right, guys. Going to wrap up our show. Takeover out.
Hey, champ. Yeah. We play it all in night. Yeah. Need it all in advance. The opposition already ready for it. Like a supper we eating, it won't be the last. Grind all the muscle, pull up. Parker right on the grass. We coming in, take over everything, run it up. Nothing holding me back. 3 in the wood, rushing. I don't like Dutch, don't even matter, you know I'm a face. And when I roll a paper, I like to go double. Run up a check, flip a W, make it an M. I need